Ladies and gentlemen, next up on the News and Brews desk is Chris Lukey with Tony Demakis.
All right. Another interview. We're flying through them today, but these are great conversations, and everyone is different. And this one is especially unique, right? We'll talk a little bit about plastics, but our next interview is really focused on the broader impact that manufacturers can make on their communities and on the world. Our guest is Tony Demakis, president of Alliance Specialties and Laser Sales. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you, my friend. It's good to be here. I enjoyed watching these throughout the day yesterday. I kept popping in. I saw Vivian do her interview, and it was great. I mean, I think this is a great addition to trade shows.
I agree, and it's also fun doing this one kind of halfway through the trade show because you and I have gotten to bump into one another a couple times, including, at the after events when we get to enjoy a brew with one another, which I think is very appropriate here for and brews. So we've gotten to know one another a little bit right now, but we're excited to get to know you a bit more. My first question for you is, how can manufacturers make an impact in the community? Like, how do you do that through the work you do specifically?
Sure. Yeah. So I think manufacturers have a responsibility, right? I believe very strongly that I was put in a platform and given a platform not to just make parts, but to make an impact, to make people better, to have an opportunity to do something outside of just making plastic parts or laser welding machines or servicing plastic. I mean, that's great, but that's not the purpose of what we're doing, right? And so what we do is we look for organizations that have similar values to what we have, organizations that maybe reach children or reach communities or go after specific needs, and then figure out what we can do to fill in those gaps.
Yeah, and you've worked with groups, I think, like Feed My Starving Children, for example. So what advice do you have for manufacturers for picking partners that align with their mission? Like, how did you do that? Maybe share a story, and then what advice would you give to the manufacturing leaders that are out there listening?
I think it has to do with what the exact event that you're looking to do is. So when we started working with Feed My Starving Children, the reason that we did that is because we started what we affectionately call the E210 initiative. And it's based on Ephesians 2:10, which basically says that we are God's craftsmanship created to do the things that he set before us in Jesus, right? And so every trade show that we go to, we look for an opportunity to give back to the community in some way.
Sure.
Which means that we need something that's large enough where we can invite people from across the country to come participate in this event for a couple hours during the day, whether that's the Monday before or after a day of the trade show. And so Feed My Starving Children, for example, can house large groups of people. And they make it a fun networking event so that you can talk, you can grow together, you can work together, you can serve together, and you can make an impact on a huge range of people, and you're feeding thousands of people, right? That's a need. That's a necessity. It's not a want.
Yeah.
It's a need, and you get to serve that need, and it's great.
So I have a slightly different spin I'm going to put on this now.
Okay.
Since we're at Plastech West, I want to ask you, what are actions leaders in the plastics industry can take to maybe continue to evolve the way people think about the plastics industry, right? It's one thing to do the activities you're talking about. I'm also curious when it comes to the day-to-day work that you're doing as someone in this industry, what does it take to elevate the meaning, show that you're committed to things like sustainability, and show that manufacturing really is, for example, a sustainable type of venture?
Yeah, I think what's difficult is some people will say, don't brag about your accomplishments, right? Don't let one hand know what the other hand is doing, right? That's a biblical philosophy, right? Just do it and don't expect the credit for it. But I think in some regards, you have to put it out there.
Sure.
You have to tell people what you're doing. You have to make that push to get other people involved and to let them know that's an opportunity to do, right?
Yeah.
And that all starts with how you run your business and how you engage with your team. What those meetings look like. Do you have an open door policy? Do you allow people to come in and talk to you about what's going on in their life and what struggles they're having and what's really happening in their life? Or are you just looking for the recognition of we're doing this charity work, right? Because people can see through that. It has to be authentic. It has to be part of what you believe and who you are and come out of your core values and your mission as a company.
Yeah, so I like where you're going on the a lot of that comes into company culture.
Sure.
For example, how do you showcase that in the right way? Right, we got a lot. Like, I think it's very meta to an extent that we're up here talking on microphones at a trade show, something that wasn't really happening as much like
Right.
3 or so years ago. So there are new platforms to authentically share your voice. What are some platforms that you leverage, if you had some advice for making sure you're sharing your story, the work you're doing as a company, as people, in an authentic way?
Yeah, so I think I feel very strongly that professional marketing is important. But I also think that people rely too heavily on that. And I think that people just need to let go of their own insecurities and actually tell their stories and what they're doing in the world. So, LinkedIn is free.
Yep.
Instagram is free. Facebook is free. Twitter is free. But so many people stay sheltered in that and don't think they have enough to share, or they don't feel like it's professional enough. And I think that what we've found is there is a level of authenticity and freedom when you just pull out your phone and hit record.
Yeah.
Tell people what you're doing. There's some opportunity to be leery of people that are over polished, over professional, over clean. And so, we do a weekly podcast. Called the Manufacturing Alliance Podcast. And we talk about the things that we're doing. We talk about events that are coming up. We promote the E210. We promote the golf outings that we're doing. There's opportunity everywhere to share what you're doing and the way that you're impacting the community and helping your employees. And people just need to take that and do it. I mean, I feel like there's no one magic pill or secret solution other than do it, right?
Yeah.
It's like Nike, do it. Just get out and do it.
No, I'm gonna do a little trick here. This is gonna be fun, but you're a guy that can think on your feet, so I think we can pull this off. So
let's try it.
Like you just said, Tony, like you've got a lot of power in like your phone, right?
Yes.
You can use this to create content very easy, very authentic content. Like I've literally got this in selfie mode right now. So let's do this. So hey, I'm gonna do countdown. 3, 2, 1. Hey, I'm here with Tony Demakis, and he's got something important to say.
Oh my gosh, guys, we have so many things going on. If you're looking for a way to give back to the community and to our combat wounded veterans, right? There's an opportunity this Friday in California, in Anaheim. All you have to do is go upstairs to the MR Mold booth. It's on the far end. It's like a little triangle booth. They're hosting a charity golf outing this Friday. It's rained out. So there won't be golf, but what there will be is there will be drinking, there will be food, there will be opportunity to serve and give back, and all the proceeds are going to go to iWarriors, which is an awesome organization that gives iPads to combat wounded veterans and lets them know that they're not forgotten. So if you're looking for some way to make an impact today, you can do it in a real way for people that really need it.
Thank you, Tony. See, easy as that. That's content right there. That took 50 seconds and a piece of hardware that you already have in your pocket today.
And really, that's what it is, right? People walk around the show. If you're walking around the show, pull out your phone for a hot minute and just record what's going on. You don't need to have fancy gear. I mean, it's really, really cool, right? It's cool if you're walking through the show and you got a trail of people with recorders and cameras and wires and all that stuff. But, I mean, if you want to showcase what's going on in your booth, pull out your phone and do a quick video and throw it out there today. You have a whole show tomorrow to invite people to.
And I love telling people there's even a way to take it to another level too. You could post the video natively, or there are caption tools that make the video pop that oftentimes are free or cheap. I mean, we could talk content all day here.
We could. We could.
I thought that was a very fun way to do that. I'm going to send you that video after this.
I would love it.
Is done, so that way you can use that. We got a little bit of time left. I want to get back to plastics a little bit here. So we're at Plastech West. When it comes to plastics, what innovations are you most excited for in the industry right now, or maybe specifically at Alliance Specialties?
Yeah, so we are mold makers that don't build molds. We do all the additional stuff. So polishing, laser welding, laser engraving, hot runner repair. And what we're really excited about is our laser welders and laser engravers. So we make laser welding and engraving machines in the U.S. It's not outsourced. It's not brought in. It's made by our guys. And I have a big passion for Made in America. I think it really matters. And I think when you say that, it should be something that's real, right?
Yeah.
And so what I'm excited about is seeing how people are utilizing the technology, seeing people how laser is coming such a long way and progressing. And just the innovation that's continuing to push out. I don't have the benefit of being on the molding side, right? So I'm not seeing all of that side, but what I can see is repair is getting better. People are finding new ways to get it done, and as people fall out of the industry and retire, we need to find new ways to bring people in, and a lot of that has to do with the additive manufacturing, which I'm sure you guys have talked about, things that are going to get kids excited about joining an industry that they really know nothing about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, we've covered a lot of ground on this. We started by talking about the impact manufacturing makes on the communities and the world and how to do that. We got into some social media strategy. That was a fun surprise. We've been talking about manufacturing innovations and getting people more involved in this industry. So I've got time for one more question. I'm going to throw out one that I often like doing in my podcast that surprisingly I haven't asked all week long so far. And that question is, Tony, is there anything you wish I would have asked you that I haven't yet? This is like your free-for-all that you wish I would have asked you in this conversation.
Anything I wish you would have asked me. Maybe the why.
The why. Let's go. Let's go there. Let's do it.
So for me, the why is, like I said, having a greater purpose than just making parts, making widgets, making things. It's being able to really love God and love others. Mm-hmm. And if you can do that in your business, you can do that in your company, if you can do that wherever you're at, then you're going to have a better life, and you're going to be able to give a better life to other people, and your business will grow, and you will have greater success. And so I think when you're looking for those things, like, look at the why. Why do I want to work with a charity? Why do I want to do more? Why do I want to have sit-downs with my company? Why do I want to do this, right? Yep. Why do I want to do this conversation today? It's not to promote Alliance. It's to promote the opportunity to do good and grow and serve God and serve people. And thank you for the opportunity to do that. I really appreciate it. Can I ask you one question?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
If animals could talk,
okay,
what would be the rudest and why?
Oh, what animal would be the rudest? I mean, I would say a parrot because they're already halfway there already.
Oh,
That's a bit of a cop-out answer. Like, I'm a fan of whippoorwills as well. I think they might have some attitude about them because all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, I already knew how to say one thing.
Yes.
Now I know how to say a bunch of things.
Yes.
So what would be your answer to that one?
So I've asked that question a bunch of times, and the number one answer is always cats.
Okay. All right. I could see. I could also just see them kind of being more passive aggressive and not telling you what they were thinking.
I find them incredibly rude because they actually they just dump in your house.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with cat stuff, right?
You don't have to take them outside though, like dogs though.
It's true.
There's an advantage to that. We've covered a lot of ground here. My last question, since we have gone on a tangent I did not expect, is what's the best way to connect with you, Tony, and Alliance Specialties and Laser Sales?
So the best way to connect with me is on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Or you can call me. My number is 847-650-3282. I don't mind calls or texts. I love them. But LinkedIn seems to be a great way to do that. And it's just my name, Tony Demakis. Or you can follow Alliance Laser Sales on all the social media platforms, including YouTube and everywhere else. So.
Tony Demakis, just like we're here, we're making stuff. Tony Demakis, give him a follow. Thanks so much for jumping on, Tony.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Cheers.